What is up, everybody? Welcome to Toffee Blues USA, your source for all things Everton, American style. Coming to you, recorded from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It is me, Gerry Gibson, and joining me today is just somebody who's been here before and somebody who's kind of I feel like most American Evertonians know this guy at this point. He's just, really. Everybody's like, oh, you know Tony, right? Oh, yeah, Tony, yeah. It's like, Tony, this guy's like the name to drop. It's fantastic, but also just, frankly, the work that he's been doing with the EFC Fans Forum. And of course, he's like, a lot of people know him as one of the head people of the Chicago Evertonians, one of the main brain folk of that group. So EFC Fans Forum, Chicago Evertonians. We have Tony Sampson joining us today. Everybody, big round of applause for Tony. Thank you, Tony.
Hi, Gerry. How you doing? Well, thanks for inviting me back. I'm glad that you. I'm glad I didn't make a disgrace of myself last time, and you've allowed me to come back. It's good to see you again, mate.
It's good to see you too, man. I feel like we touch base every once in a while via text and via message and everything, and it's just cool to actually see your face every once in a while. Kind of do the actual catch up and not have to pack it on into a text,
It's got a little bit rounder, I think, since last time I saw you. I don't think lockdown's been good to me in that respect.
I don't know if lockdown was good to anybody, man. It's right. Everybody's like, gotta work out now. Warmer weather's heading up. Let's do it. So there's just so much to talk to you about, to wedge in. I feel like this is like we have to shoehorn all of this in to this intro segment with Tony. Everybody, if you're unaware, Tony is. Aren't you the first American member of the EFC Fans Forum, or was it just international member?
I was one of the first. So there was two.
One of the first, yeah. There was two.
There was myself and Joe O'Reilly, who was chair of the Irish Toffees.
Irish.
Joined at the same time. Yeah.
I was going based on memory there, so I was like so close to being right. Just can't depend on it anymore, Tony.
You need some researches.
Yes. I've got an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, and the 8-year-old can barely work the internet. Let's do this. So anyway, there's so much happening, and a lot of it is it's getting all over Twitter, all over social media. I would say right now the thing that there's, and I can't even say there's one thing that's bigger than the other right now. That's what's so cool right now, and I didn't know where to start. So when I was writing this stuff down, I went with the first thing that came to my brain, which was something we mentioned in last week's program, which is all of the fan accounts have been saying, "Hey now, April 17th, leave it free. Hey now, and it was all this I called it the Top Gun handshake between everybody. It was very. And lo and behold, there's an event happening this Saturday, April 17th. Can you please give us some enlightened description of that event?
I can. And I'm glad you saw all the teaser activity from all the clubs. They have so much fun doing that. There's text going backwards and forwards about who's going to do something next and why haven't you included this group, and it's good to build the connections. So yeah, Everton USA Live happens on Saturday. Kicks off at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So wherever you are in the States, you can work backwards or forwards from that. So it isn't too much of an unhealthy hour for those that are on the West Coast, which is nice. So they don't have to. It's not a 4 a.m. rise to watch Everton. So yeah, it's really exciting, and it's come about as a result of sort of ongoing conversations with the club, members of the North American supporters community. They've got together and suggested some ideas. We've talked before, haven't we, about how great it'd be to have everyone together in one place to celebrate, maybe have a couple of cold drinks and talk all things Everton. And I think the club, obviously, we're keen to try and do that pre-COVID. We've talked about them coming out to do a pre-season tour, which I think would have been the perfect opportunity to have an event like that. Anyway, there's a group of about 45 supporter group leads that have got a regular connection through a WhatsApp group, and as well as moaning about what's going on the pitch. We also sort of shared ideas on things that, you know, that we could do and sort of learn from. And one of the ideas that came from that was, look, you know, we keep talking about this ToffeeFest and getting together, you know, can we make it a reality? So we sort of threw around a few ideas. We put together a little working group, you know, from a number of different groups. So Jeff Wallner, who you know from the Cincy Toffees,
such a nice guy,
came on that. Paul Brown from San Diego Toffees, Bridget Bryson from the Atlanta Evertonians, Jake Altman from Cleveland, who I think you all know as well.
Yeah,
so formed a little group there, and then sort of, you know, got some feedback from the broader group and put a little proposal together. And then, you know, we realised as the pandemic was rolling out that the chances of us physically doing something were pretty slim. So we sort of changed track a little bit and said, well, look, you know, everybody's life is controlled by Zoom and Teams and, you know, WebEx and everything else. So maybe we could just do something that's, you know, more of an online format. Yeah. Took that to the club and said, look, you know, what do you think about this as an idea, with maybe, you know, some suggestions on what some of the content might be? And you know, delighted to say that the club embraced it and said, yeah, this will be brilliant. Obviously, the club has been evolving its own sort of the next phase of its international strategy, and I'm sure we'll get onto that in a minute. So I think, you know, there was a common interest to try and do something, and that's how it's evolved. And it's actually moved quite quickly. I think, you know, we sort of started talking about it at the back end of last year, but in terms of, you know, when we said let's do something virtual, it's happened, you know, sort of really quickly. So yeah, so it's primarily targeted at the North American sort of Everton community. That's the main target. You can sign in by going on to the Everton USA Twitter handle as a registration there, or on the Everton FC main website. And it's going to be a really fun day. There's going to be 5, maybe more hours of content starting, as I say, from 11 a.m. Eastern. You know, it's going to be a chance to, you know, have interaction and Q&A with the likes of, you know, Tim Howard, Decoure, a certain Mr. Brands has been confirmed. He's going to be live as well. So we'll be able to ask him about all the summer transfer targets and some of the rumours about today. So, you know, there'll be that. I think the club's got a few other guests lined up as well. There's going to be actually a bit where the club has invited in the supporter group leads to have a little bit of a brainstorm on, you know, what do you need to move forward? You know, how can we help you? You know, what resources might you need? And also for some of the newer members to learn, you know, how some of the other clubs have, you know, put on events and grown their membership and what have you, which is really good. Again, another nice example of, you know, how the club wants to embrace the views of us lot. And there's going to be a bit of fun as well. There's a quiz. There's going to be loads of cool prizes up for grabs, and you can, you know, either enter, I think, as a supporter club or as an individual supporter. I think there'll be a raffle alongside that'll raise a little bit of money for Everton in the community. So I think it's brilliant. I think it's a really, you know, good opportunity for people to get engaged, whether, you know, you've been a Blue for a long time or whether you're new to it as well. I think, you know, one of the other things is, we've talked about Dr. David France and Darren Griffiths and Rob Sawyer have been writing this Toffee soccer book. So I think we're going to hear a little bit more about that as well, and what that means and the sort of ties between North America and Everton. So look, Gerry, I hope this now is the start of an annual fan festival that brings us all together. Hopefully next year it will be, you know, in person, but you know, there's no better way to start, is there, by sort of having something that everybody can access. I think the content's going to be available after the event as well. I think the club's going to sort of try and share that on different platforms. So if you can't make it, then, you know, you should be able to access it. But, you know, it'd be great if everybody could be part of the first ever sort of, you know, we quite like the idea of ToffeeFest, but we'll go with Everton USA Live.
You know, Tony, I could probably get you another 20 alternative names for said event. None of them, absolutely none of them would be worth mentioning again in any context. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of just spitballing. I'm like, Toffee stock, Yeah, let's just. I can't help it. It's just, but I'm so excited about it though. Just the whole concept is brilliant. I have some questions though. I think my main question. So this is something that, and I don't know, there may be no one else like me, Tony, but
I've heard that.
But I swear it's a serious question. I swear to God, this is serious. I genuinely did not lead in like that at all.
Yeah, I didn't mean to be so flippant.
No, it's cool. You should have assumed, but yeah, man. So I have a little bit of like social anxiety. Okay. And to be honest with you, like doing this show has really helped me kind of work on that and everything. But I haven't done a lot of like these type of events. Yeah. I don't know a lot about them. I have a little bit of anxiety about doing that because I don't fully understand how it works. I don't know how the participation would work. Is it a kind of thing where you could literally just log in and you don't have to have any video or sound on your own and you can just listen and watch? Or is it kind of how does participation work? Yeah. I guess lots of stuff. Just help me answer these questions so that, so I get it, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, no worries. So look, the content's going to be a mixture of sort of some pre-recorded content and some live content. So I think, what I've just mentioned around Tim and Marcel Brands and Dakura, I think they're going to be live segments, potentially with a few others. And in terms of getting involved in that, when you register on the site, that will, I think, I'm not sure what the numbers are looking like, but, that allows you then to register for those sessions. So you will, in effect, then, you'll get an approval and you will then be able to be on part of the fan wall. Yeah. Or a certain number will be anyway initially, and it'll be like this discussion now. So I actually attended an event that the club did with Sligo Rovers last week. So as part of their international expansion program, we've got this strategic partnership with Sligo Rovers, who there's strong links there when Dixie Dean played for them, and obviously Seamus, we famously bought him for 60 grand from Sligo. So the club's got a partnership there. So they did an event actually there, and it was fantastic. Darren Griffiths was in the studio. There was a fan wall. I don't know if you've seen it. Like, I see these fan walls all the time, largely because my son's obsessed with WWE. That's his second obsession after Everton. And you see, all these faces. So, clearly it'll be great if people can, the people getting involved can see as many other Blues as you can. But, you'll be able to turn your screen off, I think, or, not look at it, or put a mask on, or maybe put a curtain across if you want to. So, and it'll be a very friendly environment as well. So, cool. I think there'll be a chance.
Oh no, I was going to say, every time I've been like worried about this kind of stuff when it comes to like Everton and Evertonians, the odd discomfort and like worry and anxiety is squashed really quickly. It's just building it up ahead of time. That's just tough for me.
Yeah, just gets you worked up a little bit. I think there's a chance to submit pre-submit questions as well. So again, if maybe you can't be there, or you struggle with the formats or whatever, then you can do that. But I don't know, have you done any of the Fan Friday events that the club's been doing over the course of the last few months?
I've not.
So yeah, so this is something that came through the fans forum. One of the guys on the fans forum, Dave Wycherley, had been approached by a number of fans to say that they were missing the game and interaction so much, particularly away games. Actually, because that's quite a hardcore, very familiar group. Lots of them know each other. They travel together. And actually, he got a bit of feedback from some of the fans that, because they weren't able to go to the match, it was actually impacting their mental health. Yeah. Obviously negatively. So, we fed that back to the club, and they said, well, look, let's think of a way in which we can at least try and get people together. So they've done that. So they've done that they've done quite a few now, where on a Friday, there's an hour's chat with an Everton legend or an Everton player, and a group of people that register, just fans, and they've been from all over the world as well. There's been people from America, Norway, Sweden, Ireland, and it is a really welcome and relaxed environment. There's sort of anything goes, and it's facilitated really well by Darren Griffiths, who's obviously used to these things. So look, I would, if you're a little bit anxious, I think I'd tell you it'll be a calming and relaxing and welcoming environment. So look, it's the Everton family, isn't it? So you'll be fine, mate.
Yeah, that's that kind of that's I always get, whenever I have a new guest on, you get a little anxious, you're like, oh, it's the first time I'm meeting this person. Oh gosh, and I, like I said, I have that social anxiety thing, and it's one of those things where, at times I've had trouble with crowds. Gosh, when I was growing up, I had trouble ordering pizza on the phone, like, because
Really?
I had to sort of like rehearse it, and then when they asked me extra questions, I kind of freeze up. It was really weird, and of course, but later on, it's like I found out, oh, more people have this, and it's all right, but so when I hear about stuff like this, it's so exciting, and I'm thinking, gosh, I probably met a decent amount of people that are actually going to be at this thing, and it's really cool. But then there's that whole like, oh, I've never done this kind of, the closest thing to this has been my, doing the show, or like meetings at work, and plus I thought, well, maybe there's somebody out there who has similar stuff. I don't know. So,
well, there will be one. There will be. So I hope you feel able to to get involved. It'll be a great chance.
Yeah, you're so good at like taking the edge off stuff too, man. You're just like, oh man, it's fine. It's like your description is like a internet hug. You're like, hey, it's all right, man.
Found me new vocation. On the people that do that, there must be an agency that just has famous people doing virtual hugs or something. There must be.
I'm just saying, people are kind of worried about coming somewhere. They have Tony Sampson describe the event to them, reassure them, virtual hug. Just saying, this is a new thing.
Just send them to sleep. That'll sort out any anxiety they've got.
I'm telling you, this is a new income. All right, this is new income source, my friend. So that's going to be April 17th, this Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, and also keep an eye out for the Fan Fridays that the club's doing as well. I'll keep an eye out for that because I wasn't aware of those. Very cool. So let's move on to the next subject. Looking at your snazzy Chicago Evertonians Hummel pullover there. Yeah, it's really nice. All right. So
on brand.
Yeah. I mean, it's on point, man. So can you talk a little bit about Hummel and this whole North American Toffees, experience and everything? Because we've talked about it some on the show, but I feel like you knew a decent amount about all the goings on for a while. So kind of give me a little idea about Hummel. And I mean, they seem like they're really diving in to Everton and in Everton, like the USA Evertonians.
I know. No, they are. And a ton of sponsors as well. Did you see the stuff that Dulux did about Spurs today?
Yes.
Slagging off Spurs?
Yes, I did. I absolutely did see that.
So so Hummel certainly on in that territory, are they, so far? So it's good. No, they've been brilliant. They've been very, very receptive. And Gerry, this is another example of, I think, of an idea that comes out of the supporter community. Mm-hmm. So I think we've talked before. I think when I first came on last time, that one of the things that had been raised with me on the fans forum was the lack of opportunity to get your hands on Everton merch, particularly in North America and internationally. So, we've been making a nuisance of ourselves with the club for the last 12 months, sort of trying to get some sort of movement on that. And they've told us that they're sort of trying to work on that with Fanatics and some of the other partners. So that's sort of been the backdrop to it, and we've been sort of trying to edge that one along if we can. But then we actually a few of us saw that a few of the other groups around the world, so the Emerald Island supporters group out of Dublin and Tommy Lowe in Singapore, they were showing off and selling Hummel gear with their badge and selling hats and badges and all the rest of it. So it just prompted a bit of a conversation within the group, and then we just sort of So maybe we could try and do something as a collective, and see if they'd be interested. Given like the network out here, I think there's now 45 supporter group leads in our little sort of WhatsApp group network. Wouldn't it be great if we could, maybe see if they do something for, the supporters group? So we just approached them. We just said, hiya, we're the Everton supporters group network, and do you fancy listening to this idea? And sort of, literally they were like, yeah, let's set up a call tomorrow. Let's have a conversation. We did that, sort of learned a little bit more about sort of what their approach was and the club, and straight away we were like talking about sort of that community feel, that family feel. Hummel USA's approach is, you might know this because your kids play soccer, but their approach is very much at the sort of community level. So their markets are at the sort of community-based clubs, as well as some of the other sort of semi and professional clubs. But so they understand the importance of sort of getting out there and getting the brand out there. So that led on to another conversation. And before you know it, we're like sort of, sending logos over to them and saying, how are we going to do this, and what's the best vehicle to do it, and what have you. And then, they put a website together and sort of, splashed out all there. We chose, an initial range to get out there. So there's a few tees and a zip up like this, and a few hoodies and what have you.
It's nice stuff. It's nice stuff. I've checked it out, and I've requested stuff for various gift times. Haven't got it yet. Still working on it, but it's really nice. Well,
breaking news: there might be some new items coming soon. So don't bank it all on everything that's there now. So, got it. But yeah, the other great thing as well about it, Gerry, was we there's obviously a big connection as well within the US supporter community, just about sort of giving back. So we had a conversation about, is there any way we could sort of try and divert some of the resources to a charity, whatever. Obviously, EITC was the one that came, and we all sort of agreed on. So 10% of all the sales goes to EITC as well, which is another nice sort of little knock on. Hummel then on top of that said, well, if you sell, X number of pieces as well, we'll throw in another grand as well to that. So look, it's a big win. We obviously spoke to the club about it. Were they comfortable with that? They supported us. They sort of helped us promote it and pushed it out to the supporters group. So it's going really well. I think there's not a day goes by where someone hasn't got another T-shirt or whatever. And there's some brilliant badges out there. Have you seen some of the logos?
Yes, there are. Yes.
There's some quality logos out there.
I was about to ask you which ones stand out for you, but I didn't want to sit there and accidentally it'd be like, oh, you forgot these others because there's like so many of them.
Yeah. So I'll no comment that one. Chicago is my favourite.
I knew it. I knew you would do that.
No, do you know what? I've got a real soft spot for the New York one.
Well,
it's the old sort of Statue of Liberty. I've got a real soft spot for that one. I like that one. It's quite unique.
Tony, you actually answered. Wow.
I know.
I didn't see that coming. I'm being shocked left and right. All right. So anyway, so everybody check out which website? How can people? I've given this before, but right now I don't have it listed.
Yeah, it's on the actual distributor that it's done through is soccer.com. So
soccer.com, that's what it is.
You go on to soccer.com/Everton, all in lowercase, and then you'll get to a landing page there, and you'll see all of the different stores for each of the supporters groups. And there's about to be, I think there's 34, 35 on there now. But I know that there's another maybe 5 that are about to land as well. So, it'll be over 40 soon. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's
we can keep spreading the word.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I had actually, it had been a little bit since I've been to it, but I was like, oh, yeah, soccer.com. I'm on there repeatedly for my kids. So, yeah, that's
Get on it.
I'm on there.
Next time you're on the show, we'll have to see if one of those gifts has come through and see what you got on.
That would be, hey, all right. Text my wife from the other room right now. All right. So next, subject number 3 for the introduction. Recently, Tony, you made a little trip into the southeast of the United States. Came very close to my area. Matter of fact, you were in North and South Carolina, right? At different times.
I was.
And you were able to get to an event I really wanted to go to was it Greenville, South Carolina?
Yeah. It was.
It was. It looked so fun. Talk to us about that.
It was great. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, so we managed to escape over spring break and did something that's a bit alien to Brits actually. You know, I mean, if we're in a car, I mean, when I used to go to the match when I was back home, I lived in Maidenhead, which was in sort of the southeast. It used to take me 3 hours to get there, and that was it felt like a long haul. Sat in the car for 3 hours. What are the kids going to do? You know, that's like Teresa there, but like you Americans, you just sort of there's like you don't even flinch, do you? For like sitting in the car for 16 hours.
I'll tell you, I do. I legit flinch.
Oh, really?
Yes. I don't do a lot of that. Now I did. The only time I've done that, we had to like Disney World when I was little in the family van, and that, don't want to do that a whole lot more.
Yeah. So yeah, we decided to try and escape there for a few days. So yeah, we were heading sort of south to South Carolina, hopefully for a bit of warmth and a bit of sun, and then we went through North Carolina, and it happened to coincide with the City FA Cup game, and just by chance, the Carolina Toffees seemed to be having a little bit of a get together. So we went with our masks, and to say it was planned in my head would be absolutely true. But I must admit, I didn't really let on to my wife and my boys until, we were saying, well, what are we going to do tomorrow? Because we had a bit of spare time. I was like, well, we need to find somewhere to watch the match, don't we? Hang on.
Look at that.
Win and Cam from the Carolina Toffees are texting me, they're getting together, maybe we could join them. So we managed to do that. And they found me out when I pulled out 3 sort of Chicago Evertonian scarves to give them. They realised that it was planned all the way. But no, it was really good. And we pulled up, and it was open. There was the Yeehaw Brewery there in Greenville. A massive, huge sort of, jumbo screen. And what struck me as we pulled up, there was just a sea of blue. It was amazing to be in another part of the US and just see, more of our own. And so, we managed to, we met up with Cam. Again, I think you've had Cam on the show, haven't you, Cam?
Had him a few times, yeah.
Yeah, Cameron, Gwyn Thompson, Brock, and plenty of the other crew there, and it was great. It was open air, it was up Texas, and we had a couple of beers and watched the game. Obviously, the game didn't turn out as we all wanted, but it was great, and they were actually using it as a way of sort of trying to recruit people as well. So Gwyn's got a massive Mad Dog and Englishman flag that was sort of out at the back, and they said a few words to this sort of open bar and what have you, and they're sort of plugging away about how great it was to be an Evertonian and what have you. So they had a raffle and all that sort of stuff and a draw. So it was really good. It was really nice to sort of be in another part of the country and know that you can do that. And I think that's what I'm loving that about being out here is just that connection. We've talked about it before, the connection with the different groups, and there isn't a day go by where I don't get another piece of merch through from somebody. Yesterday I got something from AJ in the Baltimore Toffees, sent me a scarf and stuff. So it's good. We're all helping each other out.
So engagement, I mean, just the engagement when you're looking at the communication with these events. I mean, I can't get over the communication between the different supporter groups. It's pretty fantastic, and the fact that y'all can keep a secret that efficiently and then sit there and, like, I don't know, all the behind the scenes texting and everything. The communication is strong, and it's not easy. It's one of the hardest things, is to get together on something, to get everybody together on something and everybody on board. It's really impressive, man.
But everyone's pulling the right way, so that that always helps. And it's hard on WhatsApp, because you sort of, we'll try and get everybody sorted on on when we're going to do something or whatever, and then someone will post a picture of a dog with an Everton bandana, or a complaint about DCL missing chances, and then it's lost, and then you're like, okay, guys, we're trying to plan. But it's good. So, but yeah, it is. I mean, again, I think it speaks to the strength of the connections between people that we're all pulling there. And obviously, I think the news today, that the club's announced around its next phase of the international strategy, again, has just got sort of people even more excited. And I think there's now even more opportunity to build on what's been happening.
Tony, look at your segue. Look at that. Look at that. It's seamless. You know what I mean? It's seamless. Just, wow, my God. No, it's literally, that's the next subject, obviously. The new international growth strategy, specifically U.S. strategy with, with Jürgen Meinke being brought into the fold, Pulse Sports and Entertainment. I guess talk to everybody, give everybody a sense of what exactly this means, because I saw some really cool stuff in the story on the Everton website on this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as we've talked about before, I think the club's been working on its international strategy for a couple of years now. So, and I think people have been aware of, the affiliate program that it's had in a few partnerships in Columbus. There's another one. I can't remember. Where's the other one? Florida. So they've had that running, for a while. Obviously, they appointed Tim as the ambassador. They've been invested in sort of the supporters groups. So, and again, I think, everything sort of was put on fast forward, wasn't it? When we signed Hammers,
right?
We saw all the activations in Times Square and, in Bogota and other parts of the world. So I think
Miami again, right?
Miami again, exactly. It was on the boat, wasn't it? On the beach there. So I think, that was the point at which things started to accelerate, and where the club started to announce a little bit more around its intent, particularly on, having a US base. So, we'll have a US HQ and sort of drive that, that growth strategy as well. So this is like the next phase of that plan, if you like. And, they've now got a dedicated international sort of team within the club that, is drawn from different parts of the organisation. It's working alongside, the commercial team, the marketing team, the communications team, the fan engagement team. I'll never let them forget about the fan engagement. And then, I think it's also going to be, hiring some specific business development resource as well. And then I think the appointment of, Jürgen Meinke, I think with his insight and background, he was the chief business officer for Inter Miami. So I think he's probably used to sort of trying to build something.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's a big win. And he's been in and around, soccer for a long, long time. I think he's on the committee for CONCACAF as well. He understands the market. He's obviously, understands South America as well. So I think, with his insight adding to, the club's focus, and that's sort of, bringing a renewed focus on it. So what they've announced today is, a number of things specifically around North America. So they're going to expand the affiliate program, I think, over the course of the next period. And they've been doing that even through the lockdown, obviously electronically, but I think they're going to, launch it in a number of different, with a number of different clubs at different levels. So from sort of grassroots to, sort of more professional levels.
Nice.
So that's good. The other thing that's dead exciting, and we should be all over this, me and you, is they are, although I'm not sure it's within your neck of the woods, but they are going to be launching soccer schools right across 15 states, mainly in the Midwest and the Northeast. So won't quite.
You know what? If we have to go to the Northeast or the Midwest to make this happen, you know what I mean?
Just do it. I think you should tell them that, or maybe just trial a little pilot one where you are. So yeah, that's doing that, and I think the intention there is obviously some of that will be dependent on where things are with COVID, but
Right.
I think they are looking to expand that in time across the rest of the country.
That's amazing.
So they're working with a company that's sort of done this over here. I'm not overly familiar with them, but it's a group called Community Athletic Solutions. So they've been sort of building these soccer schools. So I think that's great because you know this from your kids. I think that community element, and also if we can help the younger soccer fans understand what Everton's all about, and maybe encourage them to support this great club, then doing that through the soccer schools would be another another great way. So that's really good. And then obviously sort of Jürgen's appointment is. Is sort of overseeing all this to sort of try and drive that growth. So very, very exciting. The event is obviously another key element of that. So, look, I think it feels like a good time to be a Blue in North America at the moment, doesn't it?
It really is. I can't get over this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, the amount of things that we have to talk about in this intro segment right now, Tony, it's just so much like good news.
Yeah, no, it is good. And I made up. I mean, I think last time we talked, I don't think I'd been on the fans forum for very long last time.
Right.
When we talked, and it was probably a little bit of a trial and sort of voting on someone, a couple of us on international, having an international brief because nothing is seen as a local club and what have you. So doing that. So what's been really good is that we've been able to feed in ideas and feedback on this. And the big thing that I'm really pleased about is, Jürgen Menke made this point today, in some of his media interviews about, and I think this is dead important, exploring the commercial strategy and the partnerships that we can develop, that I hope gives us a long-term standing and opportunities to build a commercial and the revenue and all the rest of it's really exciting and obviously critically important to the growth of the club, especially when you think about the stadium and the opportunities that will bring. But the bit that I really tuned into what he said was, you've also got to look after the core. And I think that's absolutely spot on because, sometimes football fans can be fickle, can't they? And they can, be with one team one day and another one the next. So I think we've got to make sure that us lot that have invested in Everton and will never let it go, we continue to feel part of this story. So that's the bit that we're gonna keep sort of focusing in on. And also is another. Let me just make a plug for the fans forum if I can, Gerry. Am I allowed?
Man, come on. You think you're going to come on here and I'll be like, no, I'm sorry. No, you can't. I draw the line there, Tony. No, plug.
Just never spout that bile again. So look, we're recruiting to the fans forum right at the moment. So there are 5 open slots because a number of people their terms finishing. So the application process has actually been open since the 2nd of April and it closes this Sunday. You can access that and get more information if you go to the fans forum part of the website. But, look, I think the aim with the fans forum is to, have representation of the entire fan base. And, we've done a little bit, Joe and I on international and we hope that that's moving in the right direction. But if people want to get involved, I mean, there's the announcements today are a pretty clear signal around where the club's going to go. So if you want to be part of that and make sure that, we've all got a voice, whether it's in North America or anywhere else in the world, then get involved. There's some really exciting stuff to get involved in the fans forum. The stadium obviously presents another set of opportunities. So there's lots of different areas. So visit the fans forum website. And if you're interested and you think you've got something to offer, get an application in. If you're successful, you'll get sifted for interview, and then it's down to Evertonians. Then it's out to the public vote.
Wow. Yeah, I actually, when you said that, I was reminded. I was like, oh, I've seen. I guess it was Gwen post about this on the Carolina Toffees Facebook page. Yeah. I was like, that's where I've heard it. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So very cool. That's exciting for people who want to get involved. Like right now, what a time. It's just crazy time. So it's a lot. Just so for everyone, it's a lot to take in. You need a second to absorb it. I apologize. You're not going to get it. We have to move on. All right. So, but Tony, is there anything else we need to add? We need to add to this?
I think it's probably enough, isn't it?
Hey,
sign up for the event. Sign up for Everton USA Live.
There you go. Sign up for the event.
Be part of the first ever fan festival for Blues. US
check
Blues.
it out. Everton USA Twitter page, I believe you said. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, and it's on. There's a story on the main club website as well. You can register on that.
Okay, so that is your fill of good news, everybody. Okay, wow. Because we have to move on to Everton things. Okay, and so yeah, you've been warned. All right, so got to talk Brighton.
Really?
I know. I know. So I don't really think we need to go into tremendous detail here. I just want to have a conversation with you. And I want to, it revolves around the Brighton game because I feel like we're looking at two camps again on this result. Again, it reminds me of the City match. Remember when we played City, FA Cup, there were people out there who were like, no, we got beat. We lost, not good enough. And then there were other people who said, you know what? Thought we did pretty well and we lost to one of the best teams in the world right now. I feel like I've seen two main camps on this, on the Brighton game. There's been the, you know what? We had a ton of injuries and we're fine with the strategy and the result is not a loss. Then there's the other camp that says, doesn't matter, that was dire, that's not good enough, I don't care how many injuries we have. Why does it always have to be two camps and that's it?
It's always two camps and someone's always to blame.
Yeah, always. Got to blame. Got to point. Pointing is fun. It's also makes you feel good. Makes you feel like someone's responsible.
Exactly.
Right?
On the whole.
Yeah. So you're pretty. I feel like you're going to bring me a perspective here that I haven't heard yet. So I'm curious. What do you think about this, Tony?
Don't build me up like that. Don't build me up like that. Well, I think you're right. I think you're right, and I think it seemed to really it was much more apparent after the Brighton game. I think there's been rumblings about that for a while, actually. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel as though, you know, that sort of narrative, and you know, I think you've got sort of a group that's sort of ultra defensive, and you know, particularly around Carlo. And then you've got those that are like, I don't care who he is. I just want my team to win, and we're not playing with any style, and there's no conviction, and there's no shape, and there's no passion, and what have you. I mean, I'm in the former camp of, you know, if you look at where we were when he came and where we are now, if you look at the context in which he came, if you look at the signings he's made, if you look at the stats around the availability of some of those key signings, I think there's something, you know, I think Doucouré, DCL, Alan, James have played together. There might be, maybe Richie as well, I'm not sure, have played together 6 times all together at one point, you know, during the season, and we've won 5 of them. So, you know, and, you know, we haven't had the personnel that's available. I think we've been skewed by the great start. You know, we were completely out the blocks. You know, we'd won the league by September. You know, we were, you know, just delirious with what was happening. We were seeing some exciting football as well. We were scoring loads of goals. So that obviously sort of builds the expectation there. I think that combined then with, you know, it's been a mad season, hasn't it? You know, and
really weird.
and people, you know, clubs have slipped. I mean, you only have to look at the other lot. You know, their fall from grace. Shame.
Oh.
You know that. You know, so it's been it's been a proper roller coaster season, hasn't it? So I get all that, and I sort of see that context. And I think obviously we've been completely depleted with with injuries to key players at certain points. There was that time when Dean, obviously, and Richie was out. It cut a lot of the supply into DCL, so he wasn't scoring for a while. So my perspective is that there's issues at hand that have prevented us from taking those opportunities. The problem is, though, mate, we've all spent our lives looking at that table before a game saying, well, if we beat, you know what I mean? And then you can just insert now, can't you? If we beat Villa, whoever else, whatever it is, we'll be top, and it go, if only we beat them, we'll be fourth and what have you. And that's the bit that, I'll be honest with you, is pretty frustrating, isn't it? And it's because, and then we beat them in the derby after 22 years, and you think, is this it? We've the taboo's gone. We've managed to, really get that off our back, and you think maybe that brings back the belief. But I think, to be fair, I understand why people get pissed off, frankly, because we've been here so many times, and there's so many times when you just think, these players can pull it off and show a little bit more desire and belief and leadership, and it just doesn't happen. Now, back to the other camp, I'll hop back over. The other thing is that, when we've got some of those key players out, can we really expect anything different? Because we've been saying the same about the core crop for the last sort of 4 or 5 seasons, that, on all their frailties and weaknesses. So, again, but look, football's an emotional game, isn't it? And I hate it when we get beat. It's really tough to tackle. But I must say, I'm more in there, look, I hate us getting beat. I think we're missing opportunities that we should be taking advantage. But I think, bigger picture, and I know this isn't everybody's view, I think we're moving in the right direction. I hope that there's a longer term strategy that we can develop, whether Brands is part of that or not. My slight fear is that Carlo is going to look for some short term fixes again. So if we don't make Europe, for example, and it's looking pretty unlikely at the moment based on current form, is he going to go out there and maybe, look for some of his former friends and people that he feels he can rely on, that are maybe towards the end of their career, and does that then stunt the growth of some of the people coming through? We had Thierry Smalls, didn't we, recently talking about, how he wanted to play football and he didn't want to sit behind, and Cuckoo and Luca Dean. So, these are all things that, we've got to, we've got to think about. But I'm still in there, let's see the bigger picture. We're moving in the right direction. But it doesn't take the pain and the hurt away of losing out on these opportunities time and time again.
Yeah. And
really brought this down now.
Yeah. It happens. We had to talk about Brighton, and it was going to happen, but I just want to make sure I like to, be like, hey, elephant, I'm letting you know, I know you're there. All right. And that's just kind of let it happen. See, I'm not a big fan of preaching when it comes to, like, oh, you're supposed to feel this way as a fan, because I look at some of the people that may be a little more negative, and they, I see people saying, Carlo got it wrong with selection and approach and everything. And you know what? I bet you can make an argument. Cool.
Yeah.
But some of those same people could say, why are we setting up to draw against Brighton? That's that's the kind of thing we should be doing against City, not Brighton. And so I get where they're coming from. I do, and I get the anger. Be angry. That's fine. I happen to be more in the former camp like yourself. I feel like we were missing 10, 11 players. It's a lot. And once I saw the starting lineup, I told my buddy, I said, I'm worried we're going to play for a tie here.
Yeah, I know.
It
is. Yeah. And I think, those two games, the Brighton game and the Palace games, that could have been the springboard, couldn't it? And should have been the springboard.
Yes, absolutely.
We've got a tough game tomorrow, Friday, and then we've got Arsenal, and then we've still got Villa twice and West Ham. I mean, I suppose the plus side of that is some of those are around us. So if we can sneak points off them, then and get wins off them, that'd be good. But on current form, it feels a little bit difficult that we're going to do that. But that's the point, isn't it? It's a very, again, it's the emotion, and I understand it, and I'll never ever tell an Evertonian how to react. But it's very extreme, isn't it? It's either the whole thing's a complete disaster, and we need a fresh slate, and we need a new board, and he's broken, and what have you. And some of those elements might be right or might be wrong, or more accurate. Or there's the other camp, which is, well, hang on, there's a project, let's stick with it. We can't, we need some continuity and what have you. But I think certainly Twitter.com doesn't help that debate sometimes.
Yeah. I personally, I grew up being a Wake Forest basketball fan, so I'm a believer. All right, okay. As long as we're still fighting for something, we're still playing for something. We're not mathematically out of stuff. There's stuff to play for. There's places to play for, and so I'm going into every match thinking I don't know. I'm positive. I can't help it. It's just kind of where I want to be. I feel like Europe's still a possibility. I realize everybody's saying not really. And if we base it on current form, are you serious? I get it. I really do. But at the same time, we're getting some people back, and we're about to talk about that in just a minute when we talk about the Spurs match. So yeah. While we're saying that, let's just go ahead and move on to the Spurs match to kind of segue into it. Because to be honest with you,
move on from Brighton.
Yeah,
it's gone.
It's gone. I don't even know what we're talking about. So Friday, Spurs currently 7th in the Premier League with 49 points. They're 14-7-10. Their previous 3 matches: 3-1 loss to United, 2-2 draw with Newcastle, a 2-0 win over Villa. They are as inconsistent as they come. Possible lineup could be looking at Lloris, Doherty, Davinson Sanchez, Alderweireld, Reguilon, Højbjerg, Ndombele, Gareth Bale, Lucas Moura, Son, and Harry Kane. But for us, coming back, we have Pickford coming back into the fold. We have Alon coming back. And Josh King, which we have no idea if he's even going to play ever. And Andre
Mystery man.
Yeah. So, and who's not going to be there? DCL. That's the bad news. Gerry Mina. He won't be there. And then at least one obvious one, Delphin Bernard. You had to expect at least one of those. So yeah.
The ever-present Fabian Delph.
He's busy perfecting the basics of football.
Absolutely. I'm telling everybody about it.
All right, so.
But you know what you said there about, I think it was interesting about the inconsistency. The other thing as well, and I was talking to somebody about this earlier today, is, Jose doesn't seem like a particularly happy man at the moment.
No, he doesn't.
That cycle that he seems to go through where everything's fantastic. He generally seems to have an impact. Things don't go his way. He might not get, maybe some of the investment that he needs. And then he starts to be very critical of the people around him.
Players.
His team. And it feels like we're maybe inching towards that a little bit again. We've seen it at every club that he does. So I don't know, maybe it isn't, maybe it isn't necessarily a happy camp there. So maybe we can take a little bit from that. Why
not? They're there. I hate to catch them after a loss. An inconsistent team that does have talent and does have a quality manager. I hate to catch them after a loss. I have no idea whether they're gonna. Now, I mean, I feel like they're gonna hang back, you know, and they'll be trying to keep the score at 1-0. I think we could see that. It's just a thing they do. I think a big thing is I'm really curious as to how we're gonna line up. You know, I think Pickford's gonna be back and start.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I got a weird feeling that even though Mina's out, that we will still roll with like a back five based on who we have healthy right now. I mean, without Mina, I mean, Holgate works really well in a back as one of those three center backs, you know, running Holgate, Keane, and Godfrey. And Coleman's been playing well, Luka Dean. I mean, I feel like we sort of have to start them in that formation. And especially since we have no DCL, last week we rolled with two sort of strikers, right? Or on Monday we had James and Richarlison starting up top.
I agree with you on Coleman. Yeah, and I think you're right about Coleman. I thought he was outstanding in the last game.
Yeah, I feel like he's just looked good lately, you know.
Yeah, no, he is. I mean, I guess for me, it's how are we gonna try and provide some form of attacking force, because I just don't believe that we've been able to do that at all. And when you've got someone like Hammers in the side, I mean, he made one pass the other night against Brighton, that slide rule pass. I think it was to Gylfi, and it was just if you've got people then on the end of it that can finish it. So I think he'll start with King tomorrow, won't he?
Oh, Keane? Yeah.
King.
Oh, King? You think he will?
I think he might give him a run out.
I would love to see that. I was thinking it's going to be, Pickford 5 in the back, and then you've got your 3 in the middle, and then just 2 up top.
So who have you got in the middle?
The wrong people, certainly. It's just me trying to predict what he's going to do. I thought it may be Davies, Alan, and Gomez or Gomes.
Isn't he Gomes? He's injured.
Well, I heard he's back.
Oh, really? Oh, I hadn't seen him.
According to the press conference from earlier today, he's supposed to be available. I believe that's correct.
Okay.
So
take your word for it. I hadn't seen that actually.
And but honestly, could I see? I mean, Gylfi could easily see Gylfi starting.
He seems to have a lot of faith in Gylfi, doesn't he?
He does. He really
talks a lot about his sort of football brain and knowledge, and obviously he's given him the captain's armband as well. So, yeah, he seems to have some sort of unswerving loyalty to Gylfi that feels as though he's always going to get an option to play. I'm not quite sure the Everton fan base believes that either, but so yeah, he might give him a run out. Do you know what? Tomorrow, I get a little bit frustrated at sort of talking through some of the systems and the gaps, and I just want to see us come out tomorrow with some genuine desire, some fight, knowing that we've got a handful of games to really go for something that was a very realistic target not that long ago in Europe. And one of the things that really disappointed me about the last 2 games is it's within our grasp, or it certainly was more within our grasp 2 games ago. So I want to see a group of players that believes that it can take on a team, albeit with its strengths, put some fight in, put some passion in, and obviously win. I kind of, that's sort of where I've got to at the moment. I'm whatever the formation is and whatever they play, the constant gap for me has been, where, and this isn't very scientific, and the stats people will be thinking, what's he talking about? Which is fine. But that's what I want to see tomorrow, is a bit of belief and a bit of confidence that, we can actually do this.
No, I learned a while back, I feel like you got to have the stats and you got to have the eyes.
Yeah, for sure.
A little bit of both. Yeah. So you're talking eyes, you're talking gut, you're talking heart, right?
Yeah.
Stats are there. That's fine.
Yeah.
they're totally useful and helpful.
Yeah, and I agree.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't put everything on them. You know,
No,
it's I think if you do, then you're like believing in straight like Moneyball systems, and I don't necessarily feel like that's just the way to go all the time. So
not with Everton.
Oh, hell no. So, having said all of that,
yeah.
By the way, I will say I would love to see Josh King get a run out. I would just love to see it happen.
Yeah, definitely.
I just want to see us give him a chance to earn something.
Yeah,
love to see it.
And there you go. There's an example of a player. I mean, there's not that long. The indications are that he hasn't been used much, has he? So maybe there's a story there that Carlo doesn't like him, and who knows? Only Carlo knows. But there's somebody that has got a number of games now to make a mark, whether it's either to try and convince Carlo to stay or whether it's to sort of win a contract with another club. I saw he was linked to a couple of Turkish clubs today. But, maybe it's an opportunity for him to, to really seize that and prove something, and we can benefit from that. So, yeah, let's see if we can give him a run out.
Yeah. So, score? Prediction?
I'm going to go for 1-1 tomorrow.
Okay. That's what I wrote down. 1-1 draw right there at the bottom. 1-1 draw. But you know what? I'm going to change it. I've been swept up in this wave of positivity. Something has happened. I've been tossed about. I'm going to say 2-1. I'm going to say 2-1, and we're going to win. Why? Because no one sees it coming. Because no one thinks it's going to happen, and for some reason, we tend to do well in those kind of circumstances these days.
I love it. I love the positivity. I've changed my mind 3 times.
I mean, if you want someone to give you some irrational, founded on very little positivity, I can be your guy, Tony.
I'll take it. And also, if we don't win 2-1, I'll now blame you.
Shit. You know what? Oh. Bring it. It's cool. I'll try to bear that.
Yeah, I'll text you. I'll text you. I'll tell you something. Me and my dad, when I used to go to the game with my dad when I was back home, we never spoke about this, but there was like an underlying sort of superstition that we clearly both had. Mm-hmm. But we never sort of let on to each other or acknowledged it. And we before each game, and we'd stand before. Well, we've been in the family enclosure, but we used to go to the park end before my kids started going. Mm-hmm. And we stand, and every game I'd say to my dad, "What do you think today, Dad? What do you reckon?" And he never ever said that we'd win, ever. And it didn't matter if we were playing Telford in the cup or in the cup or Man United or Liverpool. He'd never say that we'd win. He'd say, "Going to be a tough one today. I think it might be a draw." The most positive thing I ever got out of him was he'd say, "Well, we should win," but I'm convinced that it was just his coping mechanism.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes total sense, man.
And he's 89 now, so he's been coping. He's been using that mechanism for a long, long time.
Hey, it's working. If he's coping every time, hey, that's awesome.
It is. I'll still blame you if we get beat.
Good, because my kids are probably blaming me every time. Oh, you're making us Everton fans. I'm like, yeah, there's no other way to be, guys. Sorry.
Absolutely.
It's either that or you sleep in the yard. Have fun.
Exactly. You're stuck.
Tony, so that is the end of the show, my friend. We are finished. Any last stuff you wanna plug again, unplug, plug back in?
I think we've done it all.
Right on.
If you're interested in the fans forum, check it out. If you think you've got something to offer, lots of exciting stuff to be involved in. So please do. And then obviously, for the Blues out here, then get onto Everton USA Live and be part of something pretty special. First one ever.
Hey, strange things are afoot, everybody. Let's do this. It's very, very exciting. Exciting times abound. All right. Tony, you're the man. Thanks so much for coming on, man.
Thanks,
It's always
mate.
good to talk to you. Always good to
Yeah,
catch
you
you.
too.
You know,
It's great. Great. Thanks for having me on, and keep up the brilliant work, mate, as well. It's great to see you having different people on from different parts of the States as well, and spreading the word. So keep up the good work, my friend.
It's a lot of really nice people coming on, and they're all so thoughtful in everything they're saying. They're mindful of their Everton opinions. It's always kind of cool to kind of hear where they go with it. And to be honest with you, a lot of them are positive, like myself, which is really, I can't get over it because I'm not used to it at all. So it's really great. But thanks so much again, Tony. Everybody, Chicago Evertonians, if you're in the Chicago area, check that out. EFC Fans Forum, check that out as well. And frankly, I mean, you have something to offer. That's how this kind of stuff works. So if you feel it in here, you want to get involved, you want to be a part of this enormous blue universe. Just made that up.
Yes.
Hey, just made that up. I'll get my coat.
I'm going to tweet that in a minute.
So if you want to be a part of that, it's a really great time to be a part of it and to get embedded in this community and connect. So it's a really hell of a time to connect. So anyway, there's that. Also, if you're digging, to take care of a little shop talk here. If you're digging what you're hearing and what you're seeing, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues via podcast or via our YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. All kinds of really cool content from some really intelligent, interesting characters who come on and contribute to the channel. They're awesome, and they let me hang out sometimes, and they don't call me names all the time. It's great. Not all the time, just sometimes. Anyway, check out the Toffee Blues on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And also check out the Toffee Blues website. All things Everton on there. A lot of cool cats on there writing all kinds of stuff. That's all I got. That's all I got. Tony, take care of yourself.
Thanks, mate.
Take care of the fam. Stay safe. Sounds like everything's going well for you.
You too, mate. Stay safe. Thanks for having me on. It's been great to catch up with you, mate.
As always, man. Everybody else out there, 3 points would be straight up divine. Let's make it happen. Much love to you out there. Take care and